my daughter auditioned for this role. She wants to be an actress, and she auditioned. And, you know, it came down to chemistry in the end. You know, my
She was
daughter
actually
and
very
I,
good.
she was great, but
Yeah.
the relationship in the film and the relationship between my daughter the chemistry wasn't right for film, weirdly enough. My daughter didn't talk to me for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, you know, it's cool.
Idris Elba is coming out with a new movie titled Beast.
Yep.
I haven't heard too much about the movie. I don't know too much about what's going on in it, but there was apparently a role that his daughter might have been able to play and that she auditioned for, and she did not get it. And
Of
she
his
made
daughter,
sure-
like to play his daughter in the movie.
No shit. So,
Which
yeah.
is a little odd considering that he said it was a chemistry issue. But I mean, acting is different than. How can your daughter not act like your daughter?
Idris Elba just doesn't have the juice that Will Smith does. Clearly.
Or she's just not. Maybe she's just not that good of an actor.
She might not be that good of an actress. It's possible.
Which leads me to this question. If Idris Elba had the benefit of nepotism to just allow his daughter to be in the movie role and chose not to press for it, is that a good or bad thing? Is nepotism in the black community a good or a bad thing?
Well, judging off the fact that it's worked for so many white people, so many fucking white people, I feel like if black people are going to get some sort of chance to elevate, I think at some level, nepotism can be good for black people so that generations of black people can continue to accumulate wealth and things of that nature. I think it can be a good thing.
2 points. First one is that nepotism to me, while it's not necessarily something that I inherently believe in, like I believe the core principles of what it means, I do realize that it kind of spits in the face of meritocracy.
I agree.
It chips away at that idea of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and da 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 da. I mean, we've so much as turned it into a colloquialism. What do we say? It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? And I think we all realize it, but at the same time try to argue this tier system based off of meritocracy, which is a fallacy, right? So in that instance, I think it's positive because it continues to hammer away at that idea that people's circumstances are completely up to them, that you are completely autonomous in your life and that you control every aspect of it. And maybe that leads to us having a little bit more understanding of societal gains and what we can do for each other to move forward as a whole.
I look at a situation like George Bush Sr. paving the way for his son to then become president, despite being severely underqualified to do so. It kind of messes things up because then you have a president who is not qualified to do so. But then if I look at the situation and I see a black person doing the same thing, I guess what's wrong with a black person gaining from a situation like that?
Here's my second point. Other than the familial tie, what is the difference between nepotism and networking? What's the difference? If you're at a networking event, you are in a social setting with a person that you would have otherwise had no contact with or opportunity to pitch an idea or inquire about employment or partnership or what have you. What's the difference between nepotism and networking? So since I met you at a conference 3 weeks ago in Cabo, it's okay for me to give you a job you may or may not be qualified for because we networked together. But if I already know someone or if I have a familial tie to that person, then it's frowned upon. I think that we haven't been able to utilize nepotism in the ways that other communities have been to. So we've only seen the negative, harmful effects of it. And so I think that kind of perpetuating the idea of us utilizing nepotism would provide some balance. And then maybe that does away with the dynamic of everybody eats off of nepotism except for a black community.
We're just now seeing our first generation of largely wealthy black people.
Sure. Yeah.
Our Oprahs, our Jay-Z's, our Tyler Perry's. So yeah, no, obviously we haven't really seen the effects of nepotism in the black community because we're just now starting to get a crumb.
Especially if it's socially acceptable. If the response to getting ahead in America is it's not what you know, who you know, you are essentially rubber stamping the idea of power being handed down through lineage, through friendship, through any other type of relationship, but power being anointed, being shifted, not earned. That's the way the game is played, then yeah, I think we need to get in. Press play.
I would hope that, like, for example, I would hope that LeBron being in the NBA, then leading the way for his sons to become in the NBA.
Dog, that is a superior case of nepotism because, once again, I think I've said on here before, but I'm not going to rant and rave about it because he's just a kid, but Bronny doesn't have any Power 5 offers right now, I don't believe. There's some interest. Ohio State was mentioned, Juwan Howard in Michigan, obviously there'll be some interest there. He doesn't have a Power 5 offer. He doesn't have any major schools offering a scholarship to him. What do you hear on ESPN? Well, LeBron's hanging on for the chance to play with his father. Oh, it's so rare. Here we go on Fox FS1 with Shannon Sharp. It's more common in baseball, but we gonna get it done in basketball because LeBron's the GOAT and Bronny, he may go college. That's the most annoying thing about it. Is like we're not even being serious about how we're assessing this young man. It's like, oh, he's entertaining going the college route as if he was gonna come straight out of high school.
Yeah, he's literally not his father. He's not. He's definitely not as good as his father.
Come on now, because what you are going to be doing is creating the second coming of Michael Jordan's sons, two of which played at Illinois and never measured up to be their father. Says nothing about their basketball skill. They just weren't the greatest basketball player ever to live.
No, and just this is a fun fact. I was watching have you ever heard of Jimmy High Roller? He makes basketball themed videos about lesser known things in the NBA. He doesn't show his face on his videos.
Probably not.
He made a video about the Jordan sons getting straight balled on by Eric Gordon in high school.
Yeah.
I just thought that was, if you didn't know, that happened in front of Michael Jordan.
Dunk highlights from Sierra Canyon are great. They're exciting, especially when his dad's in the crowd. But y'all, are you realizing that you're getting 3 or 4 dunk highlights out of a 48-minute game? I'm just saying, like, recruiting services would love to rank Bronny James around the top of their rankings. They're not doing so because he's not that player.
Mm-hmm.
But the nepotism that LeBron is able to afford his son in that regard is garnering him national attention where no other recruit of his caliber would be garnering.
Hell, and even if he did make his way to Michigan, it might be because Juwan Howard and LeBron were teammates.
Bronny James might legitimately end up on a Power 5 program. Now, I don't know how he's going to perform, and that'll be the true test of whether or not he belongs there. But he might legitimately end up on a Power 5 roster after not being rated that way through his entire high school career.
Hell, and his brother might also end up there too, Bryce Maximus.
Yeah, well, see, Bryce just got a damn growth spurt, and he's like 6'4", 6'5" now.
Mm-hmm. He's taller than Bronny.
Bryce might have a better chance of making it to the NBA, y'all.
Bryce might not be done growing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, even for someone like that, he might very well be providing his son an opportunity to play in the NBA based off of his name alone. Is that right or wrong? I would pose to you how many times that's been able to happen for other players. And if you're able to point to the multitude of opportunities that maybe a white father is able to afford for his son, and then on the other side, there's nothing, for a black athlete of LeBron's stature to do for his son, there's at least a balancing effect that happens there where, okay, at least now we're not being left out of it. If we're going to start having talks about true meritocracy, at least we should be on equal footing in terms of opportunities before we start having that conversation. But it's hard to to start picking at nepotism within your own community when you've never even been able to utilize it.
Yeah. Hell, a white man left his son $1 million loan, and he manifested that into several failed businesses and became
president.
the worst president ever, arguably. Not arguably.
Because that's what happens when someone gives you a leg up. So should LeBron James not utilize that to give his son a heads up? Absolutely, he should. I would do anything in this world to give my son a leg up. Anything.
Yeah. Should Idris Elba not also use that to get his daughter into Hollywood?
I think he should have. But then also with that, and thinking specifically to him, maybe why he maybe didn't, if she's truly unprepared, he'd be doing her a disservice. He'd be doing her more damage than he would be helping her, getting her in a movie. Because if you get in there and suck, literally everyone's going to say you only got it because you're Idris Elba's daughter. More so than they would about a white lead and her father. So if it truly was that off, then he's probably protecting her. But at the same strength, I could have absolutely seen him solidify that position for his daughter, because why not? Why not? Meritocracy is a lie. Why not?
Any other thoughts on nepotism amongst Idris Elba, LeBron James, white people?
That's it for me, man. Give us your thoughts on the discussion. What do you think about nepotism in the community? Yay or nay? Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for another video. I don't even know how to describe this one. Another discussion.
And make sure you check out our video on colorism in Hollywood. Definitely make sure to go ahead and check that out. And then also, like you said, make sure you subscribe. We like to talk about things going on with black actors in Hollywood and black athletes in the NBA.